Why do we crave novelty? Why can't things just stay the same and be exciting? So in the spirit of novelty, running, last time was a flying commentary, now it's a train track commentary. Running on the tracks over here, reminiscent of the tracks of life, towards the sunset, reminiscent of aging. And that's really part of a topic of our conversation over here, is when you love someone, things are exciting and beautiful. What happens a little bit down the road? What changes and what needs to change? They asked a famous author in Israel, after 50 years of marriage, they asked, how do you keep your marriage so vibrant and so alive? He said, because I marry every day. I marry new every day. And that's really the topic of our conversation today. In Hasidus talks about Mi besari echezeh Eloka. From my flesh I see God. From understanding ourselves, we understand our relationship with God. So here's a little bit of a psychological dive into our relationships and personal relationships with ourselves, with our spouses or loved ones, and relationships with God Almighty, which are all very similar. So the fact of life is we crave novelty. We all want something new, something fresh. Novelty is what excites us. Why? That's the fact. The question is why. Why does novelty excite us? Why are we always looking for something new, something fresh, something different? The answer to that, if I remember, will be at the end of this running commentary. But for now, we'll talk about the idea. The fact is that it is in our nature to be excited about something, to bring excitement into our life. There needs to be hitchatshut, renewal, novelty, something new, something fresh. Same old monotony just doesn't work. Not in our personal relationship with ourselves, with our spouses, or loved ones, or with God Almighty. And our job, our task, our mission for a fulfilled and exciting life is to bring that renewal back. There is a creature over here that looks bigger than a cat, smaller than a dog, and it's not a deer. I'm wondering what it is. Might be here it is. I think it's a coyote. Oh my gosh. And it is. It's a coyote. Oh my gosh. I see it. Sorry. There's a coyote right here by the train tracks in Cleveland. Well, there he is. It's a coyote. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Pretty sure it's a coyote. Yep. I hope it's not. I hope it doesn't mind my running commentary. Now I'm going to continue on my good path over here. You stay there, my dear. Okay. Oh my, that was the first. Okay. First sighting. And we'll move on. See if he likes it. He might join me. So the first months of our relationship, we're always excited and we do wonderful things to show that, to demonstrate that excitement. And after that, things kind of go downhill. What do we need to do? We need to renew it. We need to recreate that beginning again and again and again. The Jewish people are compared to the month. The month in Hebrew is Chodesh. Chodesh because the moon renews itself every month. Marriage. In this week's Torah portion, it talks about marriage and says, Ki yikach ish isha chadasha. And a man will take a new woman. It's all about novelty. In the ketubah, in the marriage contract, when they write the date, there are various ways to write month in Hebrew. Sometimes it's written yerach, like unfortunately in a get. In the separation contract of divorce, they write the word month using the word yerach. In a marriage contract that aims for lasting relationship, they write the word chodesh, meaning renewal. So in Hebrew, every word is exact, and now I'm in a cul-de-sac over here. So, and both of those words actually are in this week's Torah portion. That is a connection to this parsha, and it's also our challenge for our relationship with God. And God, we constantly need renewal. Now we're in the month of Elul, which is the preparatory month of the high holidays of Tishrei and of Rosh Hashanah, which is all about renewal. The Rebbe says, a living thing must grow. The sign of a living thing is growth. So we need to bring more renewal and excitement into our lives. So, talking a little bit about that. So going back into coyote territory here. What do we need to do that? So, just like we, in our initial relationships, we always looked for new things, new gifts to give, new places to go, new experiences to have. So too in our relationship with God, we need to constantly seek out. If we don't find ourselves, we need to seek out and develop new experiences with God and a deeper relationship with God. And for us, that means another mitzvah, another Torah class, and some kind of renewal that we create within ourselves. And so, long story short, when we have repetition and monotony without renewal, life is boring and it stays boring. The word in Hebrew shana means a year, also comes from the word lishanot, means to repeat. A year repeats itself constantly, but it also means shinui, which means different. The cycle of the year, the holidays and everything repeat themselves constantly. Same holidays all year round, every year. But when we experience them, when we live them on a higher rung of the spiral every year. So somebody once asked Rabbi Yadin Steinsaltz, asked him, what about our Jewish prayers, our daily prayers? We have prayers every single day, 3 times a day, and the main prayer is exactly the same words. He says we say these prayers every day, 3 times a day. How could it be exciting? Rabbi Steinsaltz said, the prayers are the same, but you are different. The prayer, the one who prays, is different. Of course, the words are the same, but you are different. The Rebbe talks about this, and very strange Gemara, almost unsettling Gemara, a Talmud, a quote. It says, "Mitoch she'ragil ba katzba." The Talmud quotes the psychology of mankind. It says, when you're in an intimate relationship with someone, and it's constant, it says, because it's constant and so familiar, it becomes an excitement. It loses the excitement. And that's a fact of life. Why is that? We'll talk about soon. But what do we do to counteract that? Is we create new experiences. And one of those new experiences, in a marriage specifically, but we can figure out a way to do that in other places, is the whole world of the Mikvah. The cycle in which a woman has a time where she goes to the Mikvah before that time, for about a week or 2 weeks of the month in a new marriage, the woman and the man, the husband and the wife, are completely separate from each other. And there's no physical contact. And it seems horrible, and it is horrible. But it also creates a bond, this sustaining and renewing, this separation and renewal creates this, enhances the husband and wife relationship in a much stronger way than it could have been if something stays as a constant. So this is a plug for the mikvah. For anybody who's looking for something, this is really the main point over here. Anybody who's looking for something new to establish, another mitzvah, another ritual. Anyway, we can find many ways to reconnect and renew with God, whether it's through study, through learning, acquiring another skill, finding another chavruta to study with, or acquiring or observing another mitzvah. So mikvah is one that represents this concept that we're talking about. So that was that. We'll wrap it up with over here. The question is, why is it that we crave novelty? Why is it? I mean, there's a lot more of this. We'll just throw in one more thing. Moshe Rabbeinu. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest leader of man ever of history. He was intimately, directly connected to every Jew at the time. It says when he passed away, it says that they cried for 30 days. 30 days. Then they stopped. It doesn't say they continued. It says they mourned for 30 days. And then his brother Aaron, they lasted much longer. And other people, could be longer also. So basically one of the, I think it's the Or Chaim, the great biblical commentators, he said, the reason why the mourning for Moshe lasted for so short was because it wasn't a surprise. The element of surprise wasn't there. It became constant because for 37 days prior to his passing, Moshe Rabbeinu told the Jewish people, I'm going to die, and here's my will. So for 37 days, he prepared them. The whole book of Devarim is Moshe Rabbeinu preparing the Jewish people for his passing. Talking about passing. So this track that we're on over here is a real track. It's a live track, and I'm going to end with a little short story of somebody who, and then answer the question. Somebody who actually, sometimes when you, not sometimes, always, when you accept upon yourself something new in your relationship with God, God blesses you in return. One quick story about that was a person who, a Jew who lived in Israel. The story, this is an excerpt of Rabbi Shneir Ashkenazi's talk. He said that this Jew accepted upon himself the hidur, the extra stringency. Before he'd pray, he would wash his hands. And he accepted upon himself on that one Rosh Hashanah, that's what he's going to do. You're going to wash his hands before prayer, because that is one of the requirements in the Jewish law. It says, prepare yourself before you talk to God. And he goes ahead one day, he's on the beach with his family, and he's taking a jog, and he hears, it's Israel, so he hears a group of people calling out, Mincha, Mincha, and he wants to join them. And then is that my friend Baruch? Hi Baruch, long time no see. Then he goes on and he says, Mincha, Mincha, so he goes and he says, I'm going to daven, but I need water. And he didn't see like a bottle of water anywhere, so he went down to the beach, I guess it was a boardwalk, and he found a cup and he bent down to get water from the sea, ocean, whatever it was, the water at the beach there. And suddenly he sees a hand floating and he thought it might have been a doll, but it ended up being a little girl. He jumped in and he saved her. Little girl went missing, and this stringency, this hachlata, this new resolution that he took upon himself, and he kept it seriously, to wash his hands before davening, actually saved a Jewish kid's life. Now, sometimes it's not as dramatic or noticeable, but the blessing is always there. So in answer to the question, to wrap this up, why is it that we crave novelty? Beautiful answer. Says the Rebbe, man is created in God's image. God is a creator. A creator creates and innovates and seeks innovation, seeks new things. A creator doesn't sit back and twiddle his thumbs. So because we're created in God's image, we, the people, we have this inner yearning, inner desire to create, to procreate also, but also to create in our surroundings and in our environment. And that's why my thought was always, people say, are you happy here? Are you happy there? Are you happy? Joy, happiness, true contentment is not something that you get from the outside. It's something that you get from being productive, from being creative, from aligning yourself with your mission, with who you can be, with what you can or should be doing. That's creating. We are all creators. We are created in God's image. Why do we crave novelty, newness, and new things? Because we are godlike, godly and godlike. And I think that's it for today. Parshas Teitzei talks about Isha Hadasha and talks about a new wife and the idea of newness. It also talks about the Yerach. It has both of the words of the month, one demonstrating newness and one the opposite. I guess that's it for today. God bless you guys. We'll be in touch.